All right, so I think the integumentary system, everyone, is on page, where are we? Does anybody have the book open yet? Let me open
Yeah.
it. Okay, so it's on page 106. Okay, we're gonna go through the functions of the skin. Yeah, go ahead. Okay, the structure of the skin, the function, we're going to list the sensory organs that are in the skin and the primary and the secondary lesions of the skin. So the pathologies of the skin. Because as a therapist, you're going to be in contact with the skin. That's the first thing we do. And then you'll be able to tell if it's something that is contagious, not contagious, and God forbid if it's cancerous. Okay. So first, let's start with the functions of the skin. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 functions. One is for protection, just like the membrane. So the skin protects the body from injuries and bacterial infection because without the skin, we're going to be bare with what all our fluids and muscles and blood everywhere. So it protects us and keeps us in form. Next is heat regulation through the sweat and the blood. So we have external environment and internal environment is going to be regulated to create homeostasis through the skin. Third function, it's secretion and excretion. So when you hear the word excretion, it's going to be more about expelling waste products. Secretion is when it's releasing, for example, oils to moisture the skin. So the two glands we're going to be that we need to know is the sudoriferous and the sebaceous. So the sweat, it's excretory. That is waste product. And that is done through the sudoriferous glands. While the oil glands that secrete sebum is what moists our skin. The fourth function is sensation. So the skin has two layers. The epidermis, the most outer layer, and then the middle layer, which is the dermis. And we do also have the subcutaneous layer that we talked about, the superficial fascia yesterday. So in the dermis, which is the middle thicker layer, there is where you're there's that layer called papillary layer. So that word might come, okay? They might ask you, what's in the papillary layer of the dermis? We're gonna find nerve supply there. We're gonna find also other things I'm gonna go through in a second, but when it comes to sensation, that papillary layer is going to sense heat, it's going to sense cold, pain, pressure, and all sorts of touch. And the nerve endings that that senses all of these things, they're abundant in the fingertips, also in the lips and the genitalia. The vibrations are going to be detected by other deeper sensory organs. Now, after sensation, we got absorption. So the skin has the ability to absorb through the pores. It can absorb chemicals, drugs, even sun rays. The sixth and most important is respiration, which is breathing. So the skin breathes through the pores, just like the lungs, but of course, much smaller scale. And that's where also there's an exchange of carbon dioxide and oxygen, just like in the lungs. Okay, let's talk next about the structure of the dermis. I think you have a picture. If you just
Well,
turn
let me
the
just
page.
say in our book for number 6, it says synthesis of vitamin D. It doesn't talk about what you said for number 6.
Okay, so perfect. Add the respiration, and so we absorb the sun, correct? And that's what helps the synthesis of the vitamin D through the rays of the sun.
And you
So
said
add that
respiration?
too. Hmm?
What did you say was your number 6?
So respiration, which is right here. You see my screen, right? So
Okay.
take all that in. The skin breathes through its pores as much as the breath from its lungs, but
Okay.
it's of course a smaller scale. But we do breathe from our skin. So when our skin is congested, when our skin is tense, the pores actually kind of close up. Blood supply becomes less because we have vasorestriction, which we'll talk about. So breathing allows for relaxation, allows the pores to open up, and for normal breath to happen. Beautiful. Thank you for that. Okay, now the structure of the skin, we have the two main layers, which is the epidermis, outer layer. The dermis is the deeper layer that extend to the subcutaneous tissue. And that's where is the superficial fascia. And I'm going to show you a couple of pictures. If you would just turn your page on 107, you're going to see a graph or of the integumentary system, layers of the skin. Now, what do we need to know? So the dermis is the top layer of the skin. Um, and the dermis is let me show you the picture right here. So the dermis is the top layer, just this much right here. The epidermis. And the dermis is the thicker layer that you're going to see. There's glands in there. There's fibers, connective fibers in there. And we'll discuss in detail what's in there. But let's go through page by line by line so it's not too confusing. Okay, so the dermis is a mix of fibers, water, and a gel-like material called ground substance. So remember that page we talked about yesterday, the graph that has the matrix, the different types of connective tissue? Okay, so this that's exactly very similar to that. So there's our three kinds of fibers that you're going to find in the dermis. They're going to be collagen, reticulum, which is connective tissue, is just different type, and elastin. And that's all we kind of need to know for now. Now, also, there is a protein that's called elastin that gives the elasticity in the skin and the resilience. You're going to also find in the dermis, nerves, blood and lymph vessels, and sweat and oil glands. Now, epidermis, the top layer. There is 5 layers to the epidermis, even though it's a very, very thin layer, but it has different types of cells on each layer. The most top layer of the dermis, of the skin, is called stratum corneum. So what does that do? That's pretty much where it forms a waterproof covering. So that is the purpose of that layer. If we dig down another layer underneath, which is the stratum granulosum, it's almost dead tissue. So as we go up the layers, the dead tissue is going to be more to the top layer, and the newer tissue is going to be underneath. The third layer, so now we're talking about this epidermis and how many layers in it. Yes, the corneum, granulosum, the mouthfuls. So let's just continue. Okay, the third one is the spontanosum, whatever. You can see it right there. It contains the melanin cells, right? Melanin is what gives the color, the tan color we have. So melanin helps to protect it helps us from the solar rays from the sun. That's what melanin is there for. So if you have less melanin, you'll be more susceptible to burns. If you have more melanin, you'll be able to tolerate the sun more. Now, the germinativium, if you can read that, that's the layer where mitosis happens, meaning the division of new cells is in that layer. And it contains something called melanocytes. Melano from melanin, and cytes are cells. So in this layer, there's where the melanin is produced. So you just have to highlight those, read them again, and kind of memorize them. So if we look at the hand and what's up in the hands, so in each 1 square meter of the skin, we're going to find 1 yard of blood cells, 700 sweat glands, 3,000 sensory cells at the end of the nerve fibers, 4 yards of nerves, 25 apparatus for perception of tactile stimulus, more like deeper touch, 200 nerve endings. So nerve endings, they're closer to the surface, while the apparatus here and the sensory ones of cold heat are a little bit deeper. And there's over 3 million, is that 3 million? Yeah, 3 million cells that you will find in 1 square meter of skin. That's kind of crazy, huh? And let's not forget also the sebaceous glands. Cool. Now, there's 2 layers where the dermis kind of splits into. One layer is called papillary layer, which is directly underneath the skin, just underneath the epidermis. And you have the reticular layer. Okay. Now, I forgot to highlight this. In the papillary layer, you're going to see capillaries, nerve endings, and tactical corpuscles, meaning sensory organs. Sensory organ, it's what makes us feel things, right? It's what senses the heat, the cold, the pressure. And the reticular layer, so it's kind of more of a connective tissue type of thing. It's it's underneath the papillary layer, which has the fat cells, blood, and lymph vessels, right? We said also blood and lymph is also a type of connective tissue, but it's more of
Okay.
it's more what do you call it? Liquid connective tissue. You also will find in the reticular layer sweat and oil glands, hair follicles, or nerve endings. There's a lot happening in that layer. Now, let me just go down to the picture so you can know what I'm talking about, or the picture itself, sorry. Okay, so this is the dermis, oh my goodness, English. The papillary layer is the top layer here, where the other layer talked about, reticular layer is the one lower right here. Now, this is where the fascia, connective tissue, and fat tissue is. Another name for it is hypodermis. Hypo, under the dermis. Okay, now let's go back to that subcutaneous tissue. It's regarded as the continuation of the dermis because, you know, they're stuck together, connected together, and it's considered superficial fascia, which connects to the skin and the underlying structures. Okay. Now, this nutrition for the skin is received through the blood and the lymph, and that's how the skin gets its nutrition. Aging has effect also on the skin. How? We lose collagen and elastin, okay? And the skin become less firm and less supple. So with aging, we get the deeper layer of the dermis and the skin. That's where changes happen. And the sebaceous glands produce less sebum, meaning less moisture, less oils. And the skin become thinner and drier because of lack also of blood flow. If there's blood flow to the skin continuously, you will get thicker cells. So that's why athletes and, you know, people that work out and stuff like that or receive a lot of massage people that take care of the skin, they tend to have better skin, firmer connective tissue. And the elasticity also of the fibers of the dermis become less pliable. So aging is not fun. All righty. Let's take a deeper look right here. So of how the sebaceous and the suffused glands are located. And this is the hair follicle. And these are the sebaceous glands that, you know, your hair gets oily, correct? So they're also attached to the hair follicles to secrete oils. And the exocrine glands, where they sweat, you know, the watery sweat, you know, the toxins out. Now, part of the integumentary system is the hair and the skin. And the hair and the skin appendages, they are all composed of hard keratin. Hard keratin in the hair and hard keratin in the nails. And that's pretty much, it will be a question on that for sure, or most likely. Now, the hair develops from the tube-like depression, which we call a hair follicle, and extends through the epidermis into the dermis. So technically, it goes all the way through goes all the way from the dermis all the way out, and also through the subcutaneous layers. So the hair runs through all layers. So we'll go up a little bit so you can see. So the hair follicle stems right here. So it has connection in the subcutaneous layer throughout the dermis, and then, of course, it spreads out the epidermis. So it's rooted like a weed in the skin. Another important thing of the structure is of the skin is the erector pili muscles. So the skin is epithelial tissue. We said epithelial tissue is smooth tissue. It does not contract. It doesn't have myofibrils like the striated look in the cardiovascular in the heart or in the regular muscles. So what there is there's tiny muscles that called erector pili muscles that when they contract, they are able to have your hair stand up. Okay. And you'll find them if I go up again right here. So they attach to the hair follicle, okay, to the epidermis right here. Top layer between the dermis and the epidermis. When that muscle contract, the hair follicle or the hair follicle stands up. So that's what they're for. So if you feel cold, the hair stands up because of the erector pili muscles. But there is no muscles here at all. These are the 5 layers of the epidermis. Here's all connective tissue, vessels, nerves, glands, all that kind of stuff that's in there. All right, moving on. As far as the nail, it's hard keratin, and that's all we probably need to know about that. If other questions comes, we will discuss them more. Next, we can understand the lesions of the skin. So far, okay, right? It's kind of simple. The different types of lesions of the skin. You have bulla, tubercle, pustule, vesicle, macule, papule, tumors. And I think you have a picture on that. So if you would turn the page to page 112, you're going to see all different actual real pictures. Here's more like a cartoon-like pictures, but if you look in your book, you're going to see all different types of skin lesions. From scars to crusts to scales to fistule to excoriations and ulcers. Ulcer is going to be more of a dip in the skin. We're going to go through them here in a second. A scar you're probably familiar with, but sometimes as people age, or if they have a skin condition, you can see their skin is rough. See, it's built up over the epidermis. So let's go through them briefly. So a bulla is like a blister, and it contains a watery fluid. Okay, and that can happen from contract dermatitis. Have you ever worn like a bracelet or something, and then you started to have an allergic reaction? And so that's what contact dermatitis is. Dermy from the skin, itis is inflammation, and contact, you got contact. Okay, it could also happen from burns and impetigo, which is contagious. Also macules, they're small discolored spots. So you can look at the book. Patches of the skin, they look kind of like freckles. Papule is a small elevated pimple in the skin. So you'll be able to feel it, and contains fluid, but can also develop into a pus. So kind of gross. Pustule, on the other hand, is an elevation of the skin, having an inflamed base containing pus. So you'll be able to see, it'll probably develop on the face, acne. Tubercle, it's a solid lump larger than a papule. It projects above the surface of the skin. It varies in size, and examples of that lipoma, cysts is probably what you're most familiar with. Tumor, external swelling varies in size, shape, and some of it can be, of course, cancerous or malignant, and some of it are not. Vesicle is more of a blister with clear fluid. Has anybody had chickenpox before? It's terrible. So that's more like it. It wields an itch, swollen lesion that lasts only a few hours, like hives, insect bites. They're very, very minor, no big deal. Now, secondary lesions, those that develop as a result of injury from external condition or in a later stage of actual disease. pretty long. No, there's only 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, crust is accumulation of sebum and pus mixed perhaps in the epidermal material like scabs and sores. Sores are painful actually, so they will let you know not to touch. Excoriation, which is skin sore or abrasion, like a scratch or scraping, and that could it's a raw surface due to the loss of the superficial skin after an injury. So you probably have a whole scratch of the epidermis, dermis and the epidermis. Okay, fissure, something like that, a crack in the skin penetrating into the dermal, as in the case of chapped hands or lips. So nothing really serious. Scale, an accumulation of the epidermis flakes, dry or greasy, abnormal or excessive dandruff. Scar, on the other hand, it forms after healing. That's pretty much where you're going to be a lot with more scars than anything. If you work with athletes, people that maybe hurt themselves, and nothing contagious about that, but you definitely will feel the layers of the scar. And that stain, it's an abnormal discoloration remaining after an appearance of a mole, flecker, freckle, liver spots, and sometimes appears after certain diseases. Ulcer, it's an open lesion on the skin, they are unpainful, or mucous membranes of the body, and may have pus, and there might be loss of skin. All right. Yeah, disorders of the skin, you got blackheads. I know it tends to be too much, but I'm not going to go through all of them. I would rather spend more time actually going through the questions on the ABMP. And we're going to do it open book, of course, so we'll go through it. So any discoloration or blemishes can be from blackheads, bruise, acne, seborrhea, so it's a skin condition caused by overactivity and excessive secretion of sebum glands. It's just over-excretion of oils. You can see that sometimes people have like very shiny face, very sweaty, very oily. Rosacea, it has a condition where your cheeks will turn red just by maybe walking or sweating a little bit, and the cheeks will completely become red. It's a condition of the cheeks and the nose. It's a chronic inflammation, redness, swelling in the dilation of the blood vessels, and the formation of papule or pustules sometimes, okay? Let's do that. The rest are kind of not very common. Let's go to the more common ones. Impetigo. Impetigo can be also very contagious. That's crust on the mouth. It's kind of gross. It's an acute, highly contagious bacterial skin infection. So that is kind of good information to know that it's bacterial, not a virus. Furuncle, it's a boil caused also by bacteria. A carbuncle is kind of it's similar to the furuncle. It's just there's mass of them. There's many of. It's like a cluster. Warts are from the papillomavirus, so it's a virus. That's important to know. It's a virus. Common warts, you can find those in the hands, and you have plantar warts. So plantar warts very common in the feet. You know, if you walk in the gym barefoot or something, you can probably get it or public bathrooms. Common warts and plantar warts. Corns are not contagious at all, but they're painful, and sometimes they grow into the sole of the foot, and if you do not remove them, they just tend to get bigger. Best solution for this is salt water, believe it or not. Okay, a keratoma, it's a callus. So, you know, that little, you know, when you go to the gym and you get the really thick layer of skin that builds up. Okay, what else? We got fungal condition like ringworms and athlete's foot. These are contagious, so we need to be careful of them. Antifungal aromatherapy or medication work to help with them, but they need to be used very often to take care of them. Okay. Then we have the cupidous ulcers. These are bed sores. These are people when they have illness and they have to be bedridden, they start to develop bed sores. They are painful. And skin tumors, like cancerous ones. So massage therapy practitioners should not attempt to diagnose any kind of lump, lesion, ulcer, or discoloration of the skin, but you can bring attention to your client about it. That you knowing that it's something that could be malignant is good to know, and we'll show you what are the 5 things that will make you identify if it's malignant or not. Okay, so let's go to the 3 types of skin cancers here. The least malignant and most common is the basal cell carcinoma. So this type of cancer begins as a small raised nodule and it develops into a cluster plaque after that and whitish border. So here we're going to see like the border of it, the color of it, and the size of it. So these are the warnings of a malignant melanoma. A, B, C, D, E. If you find those 5 things, that's identified as malignant. 1 is asymmetry, meaning it's asymmetrical shape. Symmetry, meaning left and right the same. Asymmetrical, it doesn't have a regular shape. The borders are irregular, notched, and distended, and the colors widely range from black, brown, blue, and white. The diameter is larger than a pencil hole, than a pencil eraser or the nail of your little finger. And elevates or portion elevates from the skin level. So it's higher than, it's not flat, in other words. The second type is called squamous cell carcinoma. It's different in appearance from the basal type. It consists of scaly red papules. Okay, and the most serious but least common cancer is the malignant melanoma. Malignant melanoma, okay? Malignant melanoma, signs of malignant melanoma. So it's going to be dark, black, darker in color, and it's like patches on the skin. And what happens is the result of damage to the layer where the melanocytes is being produced, which is in the dermis, of course, is the bottom layer, the last layer in the dermis. And from repeated sun exposure or UV lights, tanning beds, or from excessive sun and UV rays. Okay. What is left? A tumor. Tumor, of course, can be, it's an abnormal growth of tissue and can be located any part of the body, can be benign or malignant. So that's all with the tumor. Let's move on to the sexual diseases. So sexual diseases are associated with the organs, of course, and characterized by sores or rash on the skin, on the sexual organs. So syphilis is most serious and transmitted by sexual contact, infected person. When a sore first appears, especially one that is hard with the ulcerated, there's a hole in the center. You can continue reading on that as much as you want. But I would like to go through the questions on the pathologies, and we're going to do this open book and then dive into each one. Gonorrhea, you probably heard of that too, common disease, then syphilis, and it has a discharge and burning sensation when urinating. A common disease is herpes, super common, and affects there's 2 types. There's one that affects the mouth, and there's one that affects the genitals. Herpes simplex 1 and simplex 2, and that lives in your nervous system. It has also phases of acute and remission, just like a lot of diseases. But you heard the herpes zoster, which is shingles. Shingles is very painful viral infection. All of these are viral, by the way. All the herpes is viral, so and it causes by chickenpox virus. I got chickenpox when I was little. Terrible. People ran away when they saw my face. Alrighty. And the last thing is allergies. So Dermatitis, it's an inflammation condition of the skin. From the derma is skin, and itis is the inflammation. And so the lesions come in various forms, such as scales, vesicles, and papules. So they're going to be over the skin. You're going to feel them. Eczema, it's an inflammation of the skin. It is not contagious. It can be acute or chronic, so it has remission, and it has where it can get inflamed. So it's a condition that stays with somebody if they're under stress or whatever their reasons for getting the eczema. Could be chemical, could be emotional, but it's inflammation of the skin, and it's very itchy and can have blisters and red and all that stuff. Contact dermatitis refers to abnormal condition, results from contact with chemicals and other external surfaces. It's not serious, but it's gonna right away, you're gonna feel redness, it's gonna be itchy, and it's gonna have a little bit of just like kind of like eczema a little bit. Psoriasis, on the other hand, is super itchy. It's a common chronic inflammatory skin disease, the cause of which is unknown. Anything that causes unknown usually is like emotional stuff, chemical, unknown. All right. Means the many reasons why somebody could get psoriasis. And you can find that on the scale, on the scalp, on the elbows, on these. It's on the scalp, you're going to see also hair loss because of it. So it's terrible to have. You can have it on the knees, on the chest, on the lower back, but you're not going to find that on the face. Okay, then you have hives that cause urticaria, if I even said that right. It doesn't matter, it's hives. They are red, they are raised, and wheals contained by several itchiness, and allergic and emotional reaction. So technically, I went very fast with this, but because we have a lot to cover, and I want to see how we do with this kind of setup. So, would you like to do the 6th question before our mini break? Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, because they're short and sweet. So, let's start. What is the integumentary system? What is it? What do we call it? What other name for it?
The skin?
Correct. It's the skin organ. It's the skin. And it's the covering of the body, correct? What else, something about it we talked about yesterday? About the organs. Is it the smallest, the biggest, the what? The largest, exactly. So it is the largest organ of the body. Okay, name 3 major functions of the skin. That's very easy. I want to know all of them though. So here we go. Each one give me some. What functions of the skin?
Protection.
Go ahead.
Like temperature, like regulates the temperature.
Yeah, correct.
Protection.
Correct.
Respiration.
Uh-huh. And remember epithelial.
Protection, we covered.
Huh?
Kind of protection, or
Yeah, correct. Protection. Exactly. So epithelial tissue, they do kind of few things. They do secretion, and what else?
Excretion.
Yes. What else? Takes in
Oxygen.
Moisture.
Moisture.
Yeah. So that is moisture. So that would be when you put something on your skin what?
Absorbs.
Absorbs it. And then what else through the skin? We feel
Sensations.
sensation. Yes. Beautiful. You got it all. Okay. Now, number 3, name the 3 main layers of the skin. Let's start with the top one.
Epidermis.
Underneath.
Subq.
That's
Dermis.
the 3rd layer. The one in between?
Dermis.
Dermis. Okay. So we have there are 2 main layers though. Did they say 3? 2. Sorry. There's 2 main layers, which is dermis, epidermis, and the subcutaneous is the layer that's in between the muscle and the skin. They all connected together. Okay, name the layers of the dermis. Go ahead and open your book, and if you can pronounce it better than me, I'll be very happy. So the top layer. So let's go. Robin, then if Leslie's here, Leslie can go, then Disco, and then Yuri.
Stratum corneum.
Yes. Maria, you're there? Leslie? She's not there. Disco?
Stratum lucidium.
Correct. Yeah, we pronounced very good. All right, Yuri.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just
Oh, okay.
listening to everything.
Okay, what's the third layer? Okay, you go ahead, Yuri. Third layer?
No, no, I was saying I apologize. I'm driving. I don't have a
Oh,
book
okay,
in
no
front of me.
problem. Let's go
I
back
can
to
listen.
no problem. Sorry. Uh, okay, go
Stratum
ahead. Whoever
granulosum.
wants the answer, no problem. The corneum, lucidium, right? Lucidum. Okay, and what's after the lucidum?
The
Sorry,
granulosum.
granulosum, correct? And with an S, you can look at the book.
I know.
Spinosum, and the last one with the G.
It's with a G.
Yeah, it's really big.
Germinative.
Germinatuvum. I don't know.
What about the basal?
Well, the basal, like they have a different name for I think the basal is probably the lucium too. Let me
Okay.
look it up. Because sometimes they name like layers a little different. Each book had like a couple of different ways to name them. But let's not get too crazy about them. We'll come across that. I want to see when we come to the ABMP questions if they refer to the basal one or the lucidum or not. So corneum tend to be a little bit corny, like a little bit corny edges. The lucidum tends to be a little bit more clear-like layer. And kind of goes from there. Each name has its little distinct. I'll look into it and see which one that is. Okay, let's move on to the 5. Name the 2 forms of keratin that you can find, the forms of keratin and where they are found in most abundance.
Hard,
Okay, and if there's hard, there is also
soft,
correct. So soft, what do you think soft is?
um,
And let me take one step back for everyone. So the integumentary system consists of what?
Skin
skin,
and
cell,
hair and nails.
Correct. So there is some hard and some soft.
Maybe is the hair soft? No.
hard.
It's hard.
So is
The
this
hair is hard.
the skin
Skin is
soft,
correct. And
Ah.
nails,
hard?
correct. Awesome. So both in hard and soft, most keratin is found where? You think in the hair or in the skin?
Hair, skin.
Skin. Skin. Good catch. You caught yourself. Skin. Okay. What is subcutaneous tissue?
It's
Fat,
underneath.
fibers,
Okay, yeah. Okay. Step by step. Let's go with Robin because she said something before. It's what?
Underneath the dermis.
Yes, so it's a continuation of the dermis, correct. And now, what other name I said you can call that?
Of
Starts with an F.
facial.
Yeah. Which one?
which one? Sorry.
Yeah,
Fascia?
fascia. Yeah. Now we have 2 types of fascia. There's one that is deep and one is
Superficial.
correct.
Okay.
And its job is to connect the skin to the underlying structure. Okay. And what is it made of? What do we find there?
Keratin?
Fat tissue. Yes. Good.
Elastin and keratin?
That's found in the dermis. Cool. Okay, so let me give you a couple of things I didn't talk about, but it's here. So it's tissue, it's smooth, contours the body. So it provides also reservoir for fuel, energy, and reserve, and protects and cushions the skin as well because of the fat. So the fat cushions the skin, and also it's a reservoir for fuel because fat is fuel, correct? The body uses fat as fuel naturally. Okay, great. Love it, love it, love it. Shall we continue the more questions? Are we good?
Yes.
Say yes, good. Okay, how does the skin receive its color?
From the melanin.
Correct. The color of the skin depends on partially on the blood supply, but more on the melanin, correct. And the pigment that it gives it. And it depends on our genetics, of course, and how much we have. So let's go to number what, 8 now? Okay, remember the 2 layers of the dermis we talked about? One with a P, one with an R. Do you remember them?
I don't remember.
Okay, you can, so we said,
Oh, the
you go back, go back.
papillary
Yes, 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 yes.
and the
Papillary
reticular.
and reticular layer. That's it. So the reticular layer is gonna have more of the connective tissue stuff. Alrighty. Number 9. What is a gland? Write that down. A gland is an organ. Either is gonna secrete or excrete, right? So either it's gonna secrete something or it's gonna dump something.
Okay.
Now, number 10. Name the 2 major glands found in the skin and give the function of each. So we said there's 2 types of gland. One that gives out
Sebaceous is oil.
yes, and what's the other one? So the
Said
sebaceous is for oil, for lubrication, sebum, and the other one is for
sweat.
correct, and it's called
Said
Sudor.
sudoriferous. Yes, correct, correct, correct. Okay, 11. Define the following: sebum and duct. I will answer duct because I forgot to talk about it. But what is sebum?
That's the oil,
Oily
right?
substance, yes.
Yeah.
It's an oily substance that comes from the glands. And that's what does it do?
Lubricates? I
Yes,
don't know.
lubricates, conditions the skin like that. A duct is a passage. It's a passage or a canal for the duct to for the fluid to come out of the gland. So it's a duct. It's a duct. It's a canal or a passage. Okay, name the appendages of the skin, which means what we talked about. What does the integumentary system consist of? So there's the 3 things we talked about of what the integumentary system is, and then 2
The hair and the
glands.
nails.
Yes, it's skin, hair, nails, and the 2 glands, the oil and sweat glands. That's it. Okay, there are 5 things that makes the appendages of the skin. Shall I repeat them, or you got them?
Got it.
Yeah. So hair, nail, skin, sweat gland, and oil glands. Okay. Now number 13. What is a lesion?
Structural change in the tissue.
A tissue. Okay. And is it caused by
Injury or disease.
injury or disease? Yes. 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 Awesome. Okay. Number 14. Which kind of skin condition is contact dermatitis? Meaning, what is it? What causes it?
Bacteria.
Okay, it's like an allergic reaction when you get in contact with something or an agent or an object that causes the
Oh, the allergic
infection,
reaction.
yeah, of the skin
Okay.
and causes rash. So that's what that is. So it's called by external substance or object that comes in contact with the skin and then irritates the skin. 15, why is it important for the massage therapist to observe a client's skin condition?
For their own protection?
Yeah, yes, for their own protection and for the client as well, because we'll learn later in some chapters that we
Yeah.
have to classify massage as indicated or contraindicated.
Mhm.
So if they have a condition that could be contagious to you or can exacerbate their condition, it will be contraindication.
Mhm.
Because we can see the skin, we absorb the skin, we touch the skin. We don't see underneath because we have x-rays, right? We're not doctors. But that's mainly why. Cool. Shall we do about 10-minute break and then come and do some A, B, and P questions?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Great. All righty, my friends. This is good stuff. I'm gonna pause the recording.
Um,
All right, no problem. Glad you're still here. Shall we do questions, me and you?
Sure.
Let's do it. They might come back, maybe not. Either way, we're good. Alrighty, integumentary system. Let's do a couple quizzes. We get the answer right. Alrighty, how many layers are there in the epidermis?
Epidermis has 6, 5 or 6.
Which one? It's
Well,
close.
must be 5 because you're taking too long to answer.
It's five. It's five. It's five long layers. Okay. Let's go to the next one. Your client spends long hours sitting at a computer to perform her daily work. Recently, she has noticed sensitivity at the slightest touch of the skin in the medial half of the palm of her hand. Her fourth and fifth finger are slightly up her medial forearm. What is the best way to attempt to identify the root cause of the sensitivity? Perform feather strokes to the hand and the forearm to identify the precise level of sensitivity. Perform skin rolling to the forearm to identify fascial restriction. Palpate the muscle of the forearm and hand to identify hypertonic areas that need release. Refer to a dermatome chart to identify the spinal region where the nerve might be getting impinged. This is a big question because we haven't learned the nervous system. So I kind of go with that, explaining some of those. So dermatomes, there's nerves that come out of your spine, and each nerve will innervate a certain area of skin. We'll show you that in the nervous system. So what you do is, if there's sensitivity on that area, a certain nerve, you would know it's correlated to that. You palpate the muscle of the forearm, identify hypertonic areas. So this has hypertonic means if the hyper tense, if the muscle is tense or not. Here we perform skin rolling for the forearm to identify fascial restriction. So if there's restriction in the fascia. So when we do like skin rolling, we are releasing the superficial fascia, okay? Or we perform feather strokes to the forearm and hand to identify the precise level of sensitivity. So if this client spends long hours sitting on a computer to perform her daily work, and all of a sudden she has sensitivity, where exactly? On the skin, huh? On the medial half of the palm. So medial half would be what? This half or that half?
The inside, the thumb area, the medial.
Well, remember what is anatomical position?
Yeah.
What is anatomical
Oh,
position?
like this.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So which is medial? No, anatomy.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
thumb,
yeah.
like this.
Anatomical is like that.
Oh, so medial's on the pinky side.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, her fourth or fifth finger. The fourth and fifth. This is a very hard question, okay? Because they haven't learned integumentary, the nervous system, but it's okay. We're gonna like have fun with it. So if it's on the medial half of the palm, so we know it's gonna be the fourth and fifth finger, so correct, ulnar, okay? And slightly up her medial forearm, so it's gonna be slightly up here, so this area. What is the best way to identify the root cause of the sensitivity? So it could be a nerve, right? It could be a nerve that's coming down, and dermatomes is nerves that innervate an area of the skin. So there's a nerve that connects to the thumb. You're gonna see that's a nerve that goes to the middle finger, index finger, and there's nerves that run on the ulnar side.
See?
So I will have this question, just answer whatever,
Well, I'm gonna say,
because we
D.
didn't learn everything about anatomy. Hmm?
What are you thinking, Robin?
I was just thinking D because they're talking about her sitting down, and I know that your spinal nerves can affect anything.
That's
Uh,
correct.
Woohoo!
Yeah, because the hypertenacity is going to be for the muscle, and we're talking about skin, correct? So that makes a lot of sense. And then fascia, we're talking about the superficial fascia. Nerve strokes on the hand, I'm not sure about that. What kind of
would you
test
do
that would-
feather stroke? Would you use feather strokes for something else?
Yeah, I usually use nerve and feather strokes. We usually use those. They're relaxing first. Second, sometimes we finish the massage with feather strokes. So very
Okay.
relaxing for the nervous system. When we come to the nervous system body work, we do a lot of that kind of work. It's super fun, super relaxing. Good job. Okay, question, it's supposed to be 2, but it's 3. A fibrous protein that coils and recoils like a spring and accounts for the elasticity of structures such as the skin, blood vessels, heart, lungs, intestine, tendons, and ligaments. Fibrous protein.
I can't see with your head in the way.
Ooh,
You're like just the way that the picture is, your head's blocking all the answers.
oh, really? I don't even
Yeah.
see my picture. Do I have a picture?
Yeah, so your just your face is on
My
the big
face, is
screen.
my face here?
Yeah, it's right. Yeah, that's exactly where it is.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, let's do
But
this.
that's perfect. That's good. That's good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay.
So the coils are the
No, let's read it
I
again.
would assume the elastin because it says elasticity.
There's a protein and there's elasticity. Exactly. So is it the melanin, the elastin, the keratin, or the collagen? Okay, that gives the recoil property of the
Elastin.
elastin. Correct.
Mm.
Okay, the small oval-shaped bodies that terminate some minute sensory branches of the skin are called. Okay,
Is this the muscles?
no, all of these are sensory organs, and they feel pressure or deep pressure or superficial pressure or heat or cold, and you will find those in your book. Let's go to page on the graph. There's supposed to be one. Okay, go to page 109. Page 109, and I think I forgot to go over the sensory organs, and I think my old book didn't have this picture. That's why. Okay, so you're gonna go sensory organs located in the deeper reticular layer of the dermis that are more sensitive to deep tactile stimulus, including the following. So Ruffini corpuscles, okay, these ones are sensitive to deep pressure and tissue distortion. So you're gonna see them are a little bit deeper. Then you have the Pacini or Paciani corpuscles. These are egg-shaped receptors find throughout the subcutaneous layer. That means they're even a little bit deeper, and they can sense, they'll be sensitive to vibration and deep pressure. Merkel discs are going to be more for a lighter pressure or touch. Same thing with the Meissner corpuscles. So you see the picture I'm talking about in your book? Okay. So they are small oval shape that terminate some mute sensory branches of the skin. So oval shape. So if you look at some of those Ruffin, Piscini, they tend to be a little bit more rounder, right? Like a capsule looking. The free nerve endings, they tend to branch like a tree. So these are the ones closer to the skin. They sense pain, they sense light touch and everything. So let's talk about this shape, oval shape. Which one do you think that would be?
Well, it must be A. I'm sorry, I gotta step away and shut my dogs up. But I think it's A.
Klaus and bulbs? Mm-mm.
Merkel's?
No, these Merkels are, if you notice, there are, if you look at the picture, do you see those like, it's like they're closer to the epidermis. They look like branches. They're more for lighter touch. Now, the deeper the sensory organ, the more it's going to be enclosed in something. So you got this or this. So at page 109, they have mentioning two of them. This is oval shaped, the other one is egg shaped. It's okay, you can make mistakes, only a 50% chance now.
So it must be the Ruffini D. Oh my goodness. Well, why does it say they're egg shaped?
Oval shaped, egg shaped, I know.
that is
Each book
okay.
said different. They are. So now we know them. But in the nervous system, we're gonna go through them again and again.
Okay.
Okay, so all the sensory organs are super important. That's what feels the pressure, that feels the touch, feels the heat, feels the cold. That's what these all do, but each one does something. Okay, so you have the Merkel discs are more superficial. So they're gonna sense more lighter touch and pain and heat like that, where the Piscine and the Ruffin, they're deeper. Okay, so that's just before we continue to the next question, highlight those. So the Ruffin sense what? Deep pressure, right? Same thing with the Piscine, but the Piscine you also get the vibration too. Okay, let's move on. All of the following are related to the sensation of touch, except.
C.
Correct. What is the sweat gland that secretes a thick milky fluid that when broken down by skin, bacteria produces an odor?
Eccrine?
Eccrine?
Yeah. Oh. Well, sebaceous is oil.
Mm-hmm.
Apocrine?
That's what I was thinking too. Yeah.
Good.
We got the crin right.
Merkel cells are also referred to as subcutaneous cells.
Sensory?
Sensory.
I guess they're subcutaneous. Reptile cells?
Maybe Strauss and bulbs, because why would it be considered a different cell? Right?
Yeah. Okay, let's eliminate that one.
What's a Krauss and bulbs? I missed it when you were explaining it.
It's another type of a nerve ending. It's another type of sensory organ.
Mm.
Sorry, 1 second.
I didn't see that one.
I know I didn't see all these in the book for some reason, so I think we're learning them. No, I think we skipped them. Did I skip them? Okay, let's go to page 108. We can learn them together. So free nerve endings are most prevalent in the body, and they sense what? Hot, cold touch, and light touch. These are free nerve endings. Then you have the Meissner corpuscles. If you're with me, I think I skipped a whole section, or they were not in the book that I have, so forgive me. I should have looked at this book too. So we have page 108. Let's go with them together. The list of sensory receptors in the skin. You see what I'm talking about? Okay, so fear nerve ending, what do they sense? Can somebody kind of just, if you can say?
Temperature,
Yeah, so you can highlight its temperature, like what?
hot and cold.
Hot, cold, light, and light pressure. So like
Like-
nerve strokes are light pressure, right? Effleurage is light pressure. If you're doing light, not deep. If you're doing a superficial gliding, that would also activate those free nerve endings. Okay. Now, there's highlight nociceptor. Nociceptor is also a free nerve ending, but
Pain.
it's more for pain. Exactly. Yes. Now, the next type is Meissner corpuscles. Now, so we're going from superficial to deep, okay? The Meissner corpuscles, they are for sensitive to, can you see it? To what?
Vibration and light touch.
And light touch, okay? Light touch. The third one is Merkel discs, and these are sensitive to also light touch and highly concentrated in the fingertips, lips, and external genitalia. Awesome. And I think they don't have the other ones, but we can look it up. So Klaus or end bulbs, also known as Klaus corpuscles, they are sensory receptors in the skin and the mucous membrane and primarily responsible for sensing cold temperature. So the Klaus
Where do you-
end bulbs, oh, well, it's not in the book, so I had to look it up on my phone. So these are for the cold. Okay?
For the
Now-
cold?
These are for
Okay.
cold. And tactical cells, my friends, they're specialized mechanoreceptors. So they are receptors mechanical receptors, in other words, in the basal epidermis cell and responsible for sensing light touch and texture as well. So they're light, and these are light. So Merkel discs are what? So it's probably another name for Merkel discs. And Merkel
Tactile.
discs is light. So let's see which one is the right answer. This one or this one?
See.
Correct. So this is why I like to do the questions, because you look at the book, you look at Google, everything is kind of like somewhat similar, but the way we want to know how they ask in their language. So don't think too much about it, but we should just do as many questions as we can. Okay, which component of the skin gives its color and protects against ultraviolet rays from the sun?
Melanin.
They'll probably ask you something like this. The skin is made up of what? Dense connective tissue only, dense connective and striated squamous epithelium, tubular epithelium, or elastic tissue? The skin, all layers.
B.
Yeah.
Now the striated one is the what do you call those muscles under the skin, tiny ones that connects to the hair and the epidermis?
Pili or something?
Yeah, erector pili.
Hmm.
So that's the striated one. You got the connective and dense, and the epithelial, which is the layers of the cell. The reticular layer has the connective tissue. Okay, so do first glands produce saliva, sebum, sweet, or mucus?
Sweat.
They're most likely going to ask you short questions like this. Let's do one more and then we can move on. Okay, cutaneous is a term that refers to skin, fascia, dense connective tissue, or membranes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's eliminate. Good job.
There you go.
Subcutaneous means under the skin. Cool?
Hmm.
That would be the fascia. Okay, the large blood vessels that supply the skin are located in which layer of the skin? So where would we find blood vessels? Is it in the dermis, in some layers of the epidermis, or in the subcutaneous tissue, which also called the hypodermis?
Dermot?
Probably, I think D.
Hypodermis. Look at the picture, and so if you look at the picture here, do you see how the fat? Where can you see it? Let me see if I can do it here. No, no, no. All right, you see the fat,
Yeah.
and you see the vessels coming, the blue and the red. These are the vessels, veins coming out of the fat or
Ah,
the subcutaneous. Yeah. All righty. The sebaceous glands are commonly referred to as,
oil.
Oil.
gland.
huh?
D.
Oil.
Correct. Okay, a small oval-shaped body that terminates some minute sensory branches of the skin are called,
Pacinian? Wasn't it that one? The oval ones?
yeah, I think you call it Pacinian. See? Are you Italian background?
Yeah.
Anyways, you're pronouncing everything correct. Awesome. Thanks. The product of the sebaceous glands is properly called
Oil or
Alexander?
sebum, right? What do you think?
C.
Sebum, correct. The hypodermis is also referred to as the
Subcutaneous. See?
correct.
Mm.
Smart. Which component of the skin gives its color and protects against ultraviolet light?
Melanin.
D.
And how many layers are there in the epidermis?
5.
5.
And we've done this question before. Were you here for that? Disco?
Yes.
Okay, so which one we said it is?
It was the D.
Well, just so we don't waste too much time. Last one. The excessive growth of scar tissue over a healed wound is a
Keloid.
awesome. Okay. Would you like to do one on your own, guys?
Sure.
You do that, and I'm going to end this recording and we'll start a new one.